live from the IP Utility Safety Conference here in Glendale, Arizona, and I have with me the editor of IP Magazine, Kate Wade.
Hello.
I have also with me Billy Martin, who's always been doing these things with us, with Kate, as well as Brent Jeffries from Bierer. So, buenos dias. Good morning.
Bill, as a reminder, Think Tank Project LLC.
Yep. Thanks, Kate.
And Safer.
Simplify advanced first response.
Yep, that's a new initiative that Bill is doing. So we're all here before the sessions get going for the day, and we're just going to have a free-flowing conversation. And the first thought that pops into my head is I noticed that during the lunch keynote, Matt Edmonds, who I golfed with last night and smoked, we had a David and a bunch of people at golf
and smoke.
I got 3 hole in ones last night.
So did I.
Oh.
How many holes? We only played 11 holes.
Oh, we did 18.
Okay. We stopped. We closed the place out last night.
Cool. Like smoke is legal in Arizona.
I think it is, but it was in relation to pop stroke. But the first thought that comes into my head was that I heard Matt in his keynote that he talked about planting corn, and I heard that first from Mr. Billy Martin, and you know, you get this osmosis as we come to these conferences and we hear each other's presentations, and someone said it, and I don't remember who it was yesterday, but you influence people as you do these presentations, as you network, as you're talking to other people, and clearly you influence Matt. And I always loved that saying that you did. So that's my first thought that's off the top of my brain.
Wait, so what did Matt say? Because I didn't hear what you said.
When you plant nothing, you get
Nothing.
Weeds.
When you plant
or
corn,
I think it was leaves.
yeah.
When you plant corn, you get corn, and
David says it's something of Bill's too. I can't remember what it is, but it's like yes, it is all, we're all snaking through each other's minds as things.
So nobody comes to a conference and leaves the same as they came, right? Heraclitus, you ever heard of him? 500.
Is he Greek?
I do. So 500 BC. This is a while ago, more than yesterday. He said use the word man. I'm going to replace man with person because he didn't know there were women.
Oh yeah.
But
Who was his mom?
what's that?
Who was his mom? Was she old?
Well, I could more than likely.
Would have hurt if not.
But no person steps into the same river twice because it's not the same river and he's not the same person.
Or she.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is we're all here and we're learning. And if you actually absorb some of this, it changes your decisions.
mm-hmm.
And then that's the whole idea of a conference, right? Is to come and grab some information you haven't heard before. And here's the hard thing is some people come and they want that warm blanket of confirmation. They want to be, it feels really good. But in order to stretch, you need to be a little bit uncomfortable.
That when you learn and grow is when you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's rough, and if you're not pushed regularly to do that, or you don't have that drive to do it, it can be extra tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Brant's going to be talking about the energy wheel, and for some people that's a stretch because it gets a little gushy because he added people to the whole thing, right? I mean,
Oh my God.
and a lot of what we hear looks at reducing errors in management systems and processes, but in the end, the people still have to run it.
The people are the key. And the thing is we've been living in a closed society, mentally locked up because we can't get out. The reason why we can't get out is because no one had the key, but it was always with us. But we need to find the key within us. And that's what this energy wheel reinvented is about. Once we find the key, that's when the sifts go down.
So yeah, you're talking perspective, right? I mean, you ever been driving down a highway thinking you're going east, but you're actually going west, and all of a sudden your whole perspective changes and it flips in an instant. That's what's starting to happen from these conferences. Is people are coming in going east, and all of a sudden I've been going west the whole time. You know?
Yeah.
And I like the idea, like if your listeners have ever been stuck in traffic, you know, you ever been stuck in traffic?
Many times.
Yeah.
From where I was.
Yeah, you can even get angry that you're stuck in traffic, but if you want to flip your perspective, you're not stuck in traffic. You are the trafficker.
That's a piece of the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're traffic and you're stuck with everyone else, we aren't special in that stuck, right?
Yeah.
And then I like to think like we like to blame things that are happening to us, but it's just happening.
Yeah, we apply emotion. I think
Oh, you apply the suck to situations,
yeah,
right?
like the roof, oh, the roof is leaking and, oh, Dad, that sucks.
Yeah. So we when we get upset that sucks, the thing doesn't know it sucks. We add the suck and it doesn't even exist until we add it. So
Mhm.
we can learn from every outcome, wanted, unwanted, expected, or unexpected, unless we have the suck. And then we're likely to repeat the bad one because we block it out.
We work off of reactiveness. We react to something that we should have predicted long ago. For instance, the last couple nights I've been seeing family because I lived in Arizona for 50 years. And the freeways here, the 101, the 202, well, I'll stick to the 202, 101. When I lived here 11 years ago, the traffic was horrible. I came here and started driving my friend's house an hour towards Santam Mountains and half hour towards Deer Valley area last night. And what's amazing is traffic was horrible 11 years ago. Just now, they're starting to widen those freeways, and the traffic is still horrible, even worse than it was 11 years ago now, and they're just reacting to the issue that was already there 11 years ago. But that's how we are as people. That's our nature.
Yeah. That kind of makes me think of in our local city, I had made the unfortunate decision to listen to a city council meeting one
Nicholas.
winter this past winter, and we were bored. I'm like, I'll throw it on. They were live streaming it, and they were talking about a road that 8 people had been in a collision, and so they were like they did a whole study, and should we put in a roundabout? Should we put a light there? And it was just so interesting, and the mayor was there, and the mayor said, I went and met with all of those people, and they're actually, rear ends, most of them. And they happened because there was there was a left and 2 straights and a right.
Wait, me. Who's the rear end? The people.
Rear end.
The rear end?
No. Cars were rear-ended.
Right.
Sorry, no, the cars were rear-ended. I can't. Gosh, your purpose.
It is I would like to say that I don't even think it's 7 a.m. right now, so please excuse us.
Yes, fair enough. But what was interesting was he actually went and talked to the people. He looked at the police reports. He looked at the data. And the city council, they were reacting to these 8 accidents that happened over 3 years. They spent a bunch of money to do a study, right? Roundabout was a few $1,000,000 to put in. For the city of McHenry, it's not that big. We don't have a few $1,000,000, and IDOT wouldn't support any funding for it. One councilwoman said, hey, let's put in a 4-way stop sign. And the mayor's like, it's the straightest road in the entire county. Like, and so I guess what I'm saying is that reactiveness that you were just talking about, that reminds me of that. And I do think we do that in safety. We're reactive.
So, and it's not our fault, Nathan. I mean, we have 200,000 years of software programming in our heads, right? We were hunted before we were hunters. And we're very protective of our space, of our things, and ourselves. So when we had to run from a lion, it made sense. But we're not running from a lion now. We're trying to make sense of uncertainty. And I think what we've done, to Brent's point, we've lost the ability to be aware and learn just from our own signals. There's a word for it, and the people listening can look it up. It's interoception, interoception. And our body talks to us, right? When your bladder's full, because your body told you, right? And sometimes some of it is outside of free will. We're reaching for a candy bar because your stomach told you something. Or if you're feeling butterflies in your stomach, you're anxious. Or if you're feeling sad, your heart is heavy. Your whole body is a body-mind connection. So when we react, we don't give ourselves time for our thinking selves to override that reaction. And then we become reactive to that event. Well, I don't want that to ever happen again. But what we really don't want is for it to ever happen at all.
Right.
So further upstream, Dan Heath, upstream thinking, is where the decision was made that created all those rear ends. And if we look far enough, we start to realize that the solution may not be what we think because we're not looking far enough upstream. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Well, and what you're talking about too, that reactive versus responsive, and the Viktor Frankl, which I'm sure we'll get to, which is, giving yourself that space, the time. But I will say also that so much, and I've said this on other podcasts, so much of what we talk about in safety applies to like therapy and mental health. And so, one of the things that I had to learn, because I was a very reactive person, to learn behavior and to be able to give myself that time. Because like growing up in my house, it was somebody yells, you yell back, and it's just like a thing. And then it grows into something larger. And now I know myself well enough to be like, okay, cool, that's what you said, and I don't love it. So I'm gonna take a little time, and then I'm gonna come back and say what I have to say. And it's hard to do that sometimes. Often because of the other person. Like my husband, he didn't understand what I was doing. He thought I was like backing away from fights, or just refusing to confront the situation. And like what he's come to understand is I'm trying to de-escalate and be rational about it, so that I don't do something stupid that I'm going to regret, that's going to hurt me or somebody else. And these are all things that carry over into safety as well. And so this is really about, it's not even about an industry. It's about who we are as people, looking at ourselves as people and going, okay, we all have flaws. What are the ones that I need to work on that really impact myself and other people around me? And because we'll never be perfect, but if we can at least start to give ourselves some time and not just react to the guy next to us or the woman next to us, I think it will create more trust.
Yeah.
And I know just from our company, from Utility Business Media, I worked here for 17 years. These people are my family. I trust every single one of them. And I don't think that we could do what we do if we didn't have that kind of trust. We do a lot with a pretty small crew. And yeah, we need all those people. And that's why things don't get missed. Because if I'm like, oh crap, I can say to Nick or to Melissa, hey, X, Y, and Z, like this is a problem, but I'm not afraid to say it to them. And so that's really what I wanted to get out right there, because I think there's just such a crossover. And really, this is just about developing ourselves and becoming better versions of ourselves moving forward,
Yeah, what I heard you talk about was like emotion side of things. We were talking about reactive, Bill was, and what often happens when you're being reactive, emotions taking place, something's happened, it's triggered that emotion. And so when you're reacting to that, you're not getting a good response. Looking more upstream.
He has a suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. You all remember Little House on the Prairie and what?
Yeah.
Oh, y'all remember those?
Thanks. Good night, sound boy.
Yeah. Remember that? I thought Mary Ellen was kind of my deal. But anyways, if you look back on those old family style movies, really we don't have those no more, but they're all wholesome and just living life and loving each other, working through ends, right? Now, if you watch those, they were full scenes. You had people that were with each other, engaging with each other, with the environment around them, full scenes, outdoors, indoors, whatever. They were just beautiful moments, right? Quality time. This is where you're going to reactiveness. And they made time for them to react. They made time for them to work things out. But if you watch movies nowadays, for instance, Mission Impossible, what they do is they clip and they show, somebody speaking in the movie for a few seconds, and then they flash to another person. Yeah, they flash through the whole movie. Flash, flash, flash. And so what we have is our social construct is basically completely turning inside out, upside down from where it should be.
Rewiring you.
Yeah. So what's happening is creating us, because we watch these things and we enter into them mentally, and they enter into us mentally, and they're creating us to be like that.
Oh,
Literally. And they're like people that do gaming. It's like boom, boom, boom. And these people actually, when they play these games, I hear them talking off to the side. They believe these things are real. They talk about this character or that character, and they act like these characters are actually real. It's all fake. And what's happened is we're being molded and shaped. Instead of thinking and caring about each other, we're caring about those clips of ourselves. And that's what it's all about, us. And it's not about me being here. I'm here because of you all. But no, the society it's about me. So we create scapegoats. So the leadership, what happens is they point their finger at the little guy, they fire him, and they retain their job.
Right. So, and it's kind of you said this short, it's kind of short attention spans with even the short form video that we all probably watch, including myself. It's popular, but it's rewiring our brains, and we take that into all aspects of our lives, even though they're not saying, hey, you, Brent, are only focusing, or you, Bill, are only focusing on this in 10 seconds. But subconsciously, every day, you're being rewired in movies and TV shows and whatever, and that does play out and have an effect in safety in your day-to-day job.
We're being programmed. You're 100% right. So, but we are, so that space between stimulus and response, Viktor Frankl's thing, we are the one that's aware of that space, right? When you're triggered, all these type A's that are listening, and all the trades people have to move to think. That's why we're all the same, right? That's why we do this work.
Well, and can I just interject and say one thing? I do think culturally, at least in America, there's a lot of men that work in your industry, and emotionally, it's like a lot of times all of the emotion will come out as anger because that's the programming, right? And I think that is one of the larger issues is if you have a group of people and most of them, their response when they're triggered by something is to be angry and yell or do whatever, like that's an issue. And so I've been thinking, I'm like, I don't like to make things into, gender or sex issues, but if there were more women that started to enter the industry, about if there was more recruitment of safety personnel and just having more females, I'm not saying 50-50, but 25-75, just to have that different perspective. We are the nurturers. That is what we are, genetically and also culturally. So if we could bring some of that softness, some of that different perspective, some of that nurturing and care into the workplace, how would that impact?
Well, I'm going to tell you, Kate, you're hitting a good spot for me. I worked thousands of hours of overtime as a lineman, and a woman qualified lineman named Melissa, we ended up getting paired together on overtime a lot because we lived near each other. We took these calls, and I liked working with her better than anybody because she kept me more level, and she was more level than all the testosterone you bounce back and forth in the cab all the time. And I wouldn't get as tired working storms and stuff when I worked with her because it just seemed like we were at a different level. And we weren't romantically involved or anything. It was
Not bucket to bucket.
no. But so what we're talking about is
We're in space. I wish y'all could see it right now.
so what we're talking about here is we're all the type of personalities we are. We like to blame other people for what's happening to us, but it's just happening. It's not happening to us. And we're very independent people, make our own decisions. And until we realize that other people don't decide our emotions, we do, we'll keep blaming other people. And we have to take that space between that stimulus to respond the way we want to respond, not let someone else decide the response. And that's in that space is our power to respond. And that response is our growth and our freedom, to quote Viktor Frankl.
I love this. And I know Brent he's doing a session this morning, so I know he's got to run. But I just want to thank everybody for listening. We'd love to do these live ones here at the conference. And we'll see you next time, okay?
Hostile.
The views, information, and opinions expressed during this podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of Utility Business Media and its employees. It is strongly recommended that you discuss any actions or policy changes with your company management prior to implementation.